Hey comic book fans, welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Geezers. I am your host, Wild Bill, the Unknown Comic, and alongside me right here is Pete.
What's up, everybody? How are you? I promised, 2 weeks ago or so, that we would revisit part 2 of Inside the Cover. We started with Avengers.
From Marvel Comics.
Which is upside down. There you go. Okay.
Damn camera again.
We did Inside the Cover.
Upside down?
No, that one's good.
Wood plug.
There you go.
Wood plug.
Wood plug.
All right. Part 2 of the Avengers.
That's right.
Story arc.
So for those of you who have been asking for a lot of these extended storyline arcs, well, here you go. You can have a 3-parter. Tune in next week or so for the next one. But we did originally Avengers 29, which saw the Avengers going up against Black Widow, the Swordsman, and Power Man. And also Giant Man become Goliath. And he's like stuck at that 10 foot.
10 foot.
He's stuck at 10 feet, right? So, and then...
he can't get on the other.
Right. So here we're going to continue on. So the first big battle with the trio, villain trio, kind of happened. They escaped because Hawkeye couldn't pull the trigger on his arrow because he didn't want to hurt Black Widow, right? Because he's like, ah. And of course, Goliath... Goliath, of course, is so depressed that he's stuck at 10 feet. And then also, and I kind of
He changed his name.
He changed his name from Giant Man to Goliath, and then I gave a little bit away I shouldn't have, but some weird stuff is happening with the Black Widow and Quicksilver's powers, right? Which we're going to get
diminishing.
Into. Right.
All right. So here we are.
And this again,
episode issue
and
30.
Originally owned by Roger Congleton, which I'll show in a second. Issue 30.
Issue 30.
Stan Lee writer, Don Heck artist, Frank Giacoia.
1965 or 66?
1966. Sam Rosen letter and Irving Forbush, the arbitrator. I don't know what the hell that means.
In this saga, the title of this story is Frenzy in a Far Off Land.
That's right. So here we are. That's why I haven't even shown it yet.
No, you haven't.
Of course, when it's up.
Still talking about the previous issue. I'm like, get on with it.
That's right. I'm giving the summary because it's a multi-part arc here. So yeah,
they can go back
and
watch.
My friend, patience. So here, and again, how many times have we talked about how we like these old style Marvel
multiple heads
with the multiple heads?
Is this Kirby cover?
No, this is a Don Heck cover.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But still, the multiple Marvel heads.
Yeah.
Different characters.
Yep.
And this is Black Widow down there?
Yeah, it's Black Widow with
Black Widow with the Robin mask.
With the Robin mask. Power Man, Swordsman. On the other side, you've got Cap, Hawkeye, and the Wasp.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the Black Widow. I don't like her.
Yeah, I don't like that look at all, right? Yeah,
I was introduced to her when I was a kid in the mid-'70s with her being in Daredevil. That's the look I like. That's the Black Widow.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I do not like this look at all.
Just had to say that. All right, Continue.
So here we have in the beginning, we've got Scarlet Witch is obviously worried about something. She's talking because in the last issue, she got really kind of beaten by the Swordsman pretty easily. Her hex is not working right. So she's here talking about that. She says
she's losing her powers.
Yeah, I don't know how to tell you this.
She's not firing on all cylinders.
So she goes, I can remain here with you no longer. I must resign from the Avengers. He's like, what's that all about? What are you talking about? So she's like, it's just like, recently when we fought the Swordsman, the Black Widow, and Power Man, my hex is gradually getting weaker. And he notices that, no good, right?
No good anymore.
So he says that he's also been getting tired really quickly from running and all that kind of stuff. So they decide that they're going to...
High blood pressure. Tired from running. Well, you can fly, moron. Fly.
So basically, they say we must try. So they go to Cap. They said we're gonna return to Europe immediately, and try and regain our powers. Like what does it matter whether you're in Europe or the USA or you're a mutant, right?
Try and regain your powers over there.
You should be born with this
Must
stuff,
be something
right?
in the water.
But Cap is like, so Cap all of a sudden creeps into the room. He goes, I couldn't help but overhearing. I totally understand, and all the other members will understand. Go do what you got to do. And then luckily Goliath has returned to us again, so we'll have his power during your absence. And so, so then
10 feet of it.
Yeah, so then of course cut to Janet trying to knock on the door where Goliath, her beloved, Henry Pym is hanging out. Of course, there he is sitting there
Sulking.
See that? In this tiny little chair, sulking. Mr. Brood, right? Because that's what he does. So he gets more. So she's outside crying. Oh, he won't talk to me, whatever. And he's like, there's got to be a way I can get about this. So here he is up top. He's looking through a newspaper. He sees an article about a doctor that he knew. Because he's obviously a doctor.
I thought you were going to say that Charlie Atlas
bulk up I don't know if he wants to bulk up anymore.
He
wants
wouldn't
to
kick sand in his face. He's 10 feet tall.
So what's this? And I know about my old college professor, Dr. Anton. He's in South America doing research on artificial growth of body cells. It's like a stroke of fate. If anybody can help me, it's Dr. Anton. So what does he do? He goes out and gets onto the air-powered rocket that's created by...
Because he can't fit in a plane.
Can't fit in a plane, right? So Tony Stark's got one of these.
Is that it down there?
Yeah, that's it down there, yep.
That looks like... kind of like a scooter.
It does look like a scooter, right? But hey, Tony Stark created it in the 60s, of course.
It's a podium.
Yeah.
Also, it's a tripod podium scooter.
Yep. So he takes off.
He can give speeches or travel.
Yeah. You know what's really amazing?
Start that again.
What's really amazing is a lot of stuff you saw in these comics back in the 60s of this,
That's a tripod podium.
Yeah, basically.
Now, there's a book in his hands. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to address the... Right? Thank you, comic book geezer fans, for being here. Now I'm going to zip up.
Gone. So, of course, Janet goes, he wouldn't answer the door. I finally walked in. He's gone. So...
I don't know if I interrupted you, but you were talking about stuff in comics back then, showing things off that are relevant to today's world that didn't exist back then.
All sorts of technology stuff with computers and different types of transportation and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they were literally, foreshadowing stuff that got later 20, 30, 40 years later. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. So then they discover he's gone. So he jumps onto this rocket racer thing, whatever the hell it's called, and he goes off to South America. Doesn't really know exactly where he's going, but he's just going. Like, I'm just going to go. So then let's cut back to
the original Black Widow.
Black Widow, right?
With her black hair.
So now she's talking to her evil boss from the Far East, Sol, right?
Are they giving her a Russian accent back then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I like it. Sticking true to the character.
That's right. So she's sitting there. So they escaped from the last issue, and she's here with Power Man and the Swordsman, who are both getting a little freaking bored. So what do? They start fighting with each other because they blame each other for not winning the last battle, right? So they're going at it.
Nice Marvel ads.
I'm going to show
classic
that.
books.
Absolutely, right? So we have you got the second appearance ever of the Black Panther in Fantastic Four going against Kang the Conqueror. You got the first issue of John Romita.
Look at that book, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
issue number 38 of Spider-Man, then Marvel Collector's Item issue. All right, so
wow.
Little break. We go back to the Swordsman. More action. So the Swordsman and Power Man are just like beating the shit out of each other there, right? Because of course, why not? Because they're both knuckleheads.
We're getting towards the end of the book.
And then Black Widow jumps in between. It's like, all right, guys, stop it. And then so here we have Cap, and Cap is explaining to him what went on with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and then they figure out they've got to go find Goliath, right? So because they know he left, whatever. So here they start, but they're also like, but we have to find Black Widow and the other two bad guys. So they start nosing around, asking people, and Scarlet Witch happens to go into a bar as not Scarlet Witch, the Wasp goes into a bar as the Wasp, and she overhears a conversation between two drunks at a bar about how there's a warehouse next door, and they think there's some bad guys there, of course. So what do? They got to go
check it out. It's a lead.
Yeah.
It's a lead.
But Hawkeye basically says, you know what? It's my fault they escaped. Let me go.
It's all
on my own, and I got to do it by myself, and I'll go take care of it.
Let's see.
So, but wait, let's cut back to South America because
cliffhanger.
Goliath has just landed in South America somewhere,
on
right?
his tripod.
Yeah, on his little tripod thing, and he immediately gets attacked by a bunch of weird costume natives there, right? So they get him, they have him captive, right? So then we got to find out what's this all about. So, but he continues to fight them, right? Take me to your leader type of thing.
Swoosh.
Swoosh. There you go. Then we cut back to New York, and here Hawkeye goes into the warehouse, and he busts in on Swordsman.
Jumping around here.
And Power Man. We're jumping all over the place here.
Brazil to New York.
Yeah, Brazil and New York, or somewhere there. So here...
Back and forth.
So here we get a big battle, right? in the warehouse. So Hawkeye's all on his own. Of course, he's getting overpowered by Power Man. He's got the swordsman at his heels. Then he finally sees Black Widow, and he goes to reach for his arrows. They're not there, and then she goes, "Oh, I believe you're looking for these," and she's holding all his arrows. So he's like, "Natasha, you!"
I got no arrows left.
So of course, I knew you wouldn't ever side with those two creeps. My heart told me when the chips were down, it would be just you and me again, like it used to be. Quick, honey, let me have those arrows, and I'll finish this off before you can pucker up. Come on, baby, just to stand there. Let's get it over with. And of course, she zaps him with one of her Black Widow stings and fools him yet again. Right?
Sucker.
This sucker, complete sucker. So then she does that. And he's like, "What's wrong with me? When am I ever going to learn? I knew she's out to get me. I can't bear to battle her." So what does he do? He grabs the arrows. He goes up against the swordsman again. He shoots the arrow. Swordsman's doing his sword thing, whatever. Oh, but wait, let's cut back to South America, right? Just as we're in the heat of battle. One more time. So now we've got this brand new kind of villain guy who's heading up all these people down South America, and his name is the Keeper, right? The Flame Keeper. So we find out that he's got this, the people of this weird land in South America, wherever they are, they worship this giant flame, and he is the keeper of the flame. So the flame is being fueled by cobalt, which back then, because we saw the Cobalt Man in various issues and stuff.
The new energy.
Cobalt was like, the new, almost like kind of like
radiation energy.
Radiation nuclear type of energy, right? So Goliath is looking at this whole society of people who are like worshiping the Cobalt flame, and now this guy who is like basically the keeper of the flame.
Keeper of the flame.
So, he goes to try and escape, and he comes upon this guy who's the Prince Ray, who is the heir to the throne of this land, but he's being forced out of power by this keeper guy. So they're like, all right, let's work together. Let's get out of here. We got to figure out what's going on. But wait, cut back to New York. And just when you think Power Man is out and down, he comes up and he knocks out Hawkeye, right? But then Hawkeye gets back up again. He starts fighting with the swordsman again. And, then we got Scarlet Witch finally comes to her senses. She breaks off, so the brainwashing has miraculously worn off.
She's not hypnotized anymore?
She's not hypnotized anymore. So right in the middle of battle, she helps Hawkeye get one over on the other two, right? And then all of a sudden, oh, yes, my love. Oh, everything is lovey-dovey all once again, right? And then cut back to Avengers Mansion, and Wasp sees some kind of telecast from South America. She thinks she has an idea where Goliath is, so she tells Cap, and then they're going to go and investigate.
They're going to go find them.
They're going to go find them. So that's kind of where we leave you off. So here we've got the Keeper of the Flame at the bottom, rising up the troops. We've got to go find that giant Avenger and the Prince Ray. We're going to abolish all of them. We're going to take over the world with the flame, blah, blah, blah. And that's where we leave it till next time. So that will be issue number 31. We have anything interesting here? Some more fishing and some more build up and get muscles, and also Norman Rockwell. So there you have it, issue number 30 of Avengers. This is a 3-part saga here.
Part 2 right here.
Part 2. Stay tuned for part 3 so we find out exactly what happens to Goliath down in South America with the Cobalt Flame, and are the Avengers going to come and
Keeper
help
of
out?
the Flame.
Keeper of the Flame. And
who's he going to keep?
I don't know what he's doing with the Cobalt Flame. I don't know what that... Take over the world with the Cobalt Flame. Yeah, these people are delusional.
I'm so scared.
That's comics in the 60s for you guys. So there you have it.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Inside the cover of Avengers 30.
Avengers 30. Stay tuned for 31 coming up in a week or so. And until then, make sure you go and click on that subscribe button and click on that notification bell, because you want to make sure you don't miss any of our videos as they post. Also, if you do want to reach out and kind of
get a wood mug or a wood T-shirt, just scroll down to the bottom. The link is down there.
Yep, exactly.
Follow instructions.
If you do want to happen to chat with us on email, please send something to sotmail@yahoo.com. S as in Sam, O, T as in Tom, mail@yahoo.com. That is the email address of Sea of Tranquility. Just please do mention for comic book geezers in that subject line. So.
And as always, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
That's right. So follow us on Facebook too. We do have a Facebook account, so we're on there quite often too. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you real soon for another edition of Comic Book Geezers. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.